Hello! My name is Callista and welcome back to Mass Effect 3 Legendary Edition. In the last episode, we were exploring all of the new systems that we got with Leviathan. We are currently in Kaisil. And let's check out... Ooh, Rustica! That! I might nick that for a character name, that's cool. This methane ammonia gas giant was swept past during the Reaper invasion, and once its helium-3 collection equipment was destroyed, it was largely ignored. Vorcha ships that survived the attacks on Heshtok and Lerat can be found discharging their drive cores here before making spy sorties or retreating further into space. What is a spy sortie? It's not so much the word spy I'm struggling with, it's sorties. I'm like, what does this mean? I have never come across... I've never come across sortie before. Orbital distance 7.1 AU. Orbital period 21.2 Earth years. Radius 32,734 kilometers. Day length 14.5 Earth hours. And I can assume this is a fuel depot. Indeed, lovely. Fuel is always appreciated. Oh my god, look at this. That's beautiful. Lerat. The hydrogen-helium gas giant Lerat was the site of a brief and decisive battle between Vorcha and Reaper forces. It was impolitically characterized on the news vids as millennia-old death machines versus a gang of teenagers. This sounds like the recap of a Scooby-Doo episode. That's not right! A reference to the Vorcha's brief lifespans and inexperience. In reality, many of the ships were commanded by other species to avoid this shortcoming, but the insult still sticks. The Defenders outnumbered the Reapers, but their force was comprised of light ships, suitable to a militia, since never before had it been in anyone's best interest to allow Vorcha to build a dreadnought. Superior Reaper firepower soon wiped out the Vorcha fleet, and the fuel infrastructure around Lerat was pulverized. Rumours abound that the Reapers did not lose a single ship. I feel so badly for the Vorcha. I feel so badly for them. Orbital distance 3.5 AU. Orbital period 7.3 Earth years. Radius 72,280 kilometers. Day length 11.9 Earth hours. And down to Parask. A lifeless desert, Parask was colonized soon after first contact with the Vorcha. Several Asari mining corporations working with a Sayari-based charity called Mind and Hand built settlements on the planet's surface and orbital stations. Adopting Vorcha orphans from Heshtok, they raised them to live non-violent lives and employed them in the mining industry. While Mind and Hand's efforts were at first labelled colonialist, the orphans became minor celebrities when it was discovered that the Vorcha habit of using violence to communicate was not completely innate. Several spoke throughout Citadel space on behalf of their species, but their short lifespans kept their careers very brief. Even today, companies that want Vorcha labour have the poor choice between adopting and educating them as youngsters just to watch them age and die, or dealing with autonomous but violent adults. The Reaper invasion devastated Parask. Its industrial capacity was ruthlessly targeted, and the Vorcha mining communities were exterminated. The only silver lining is that the deaths here have created martyrs, inspiring other alien-raised Vorcha to fight for their galaxy. Orbital distance 1.7 AU. Orbital period 2.5 Earth years. Radius 2,283 kilometers. Day length 49.1 Earth hours. Atmospheric pressure trace. Surface temperature negative 85 Celsius. Surface gravity 0.32 G. And who is you? Heshtok. A Systems Alliance official once summarized his tour of the Vorcha homeworld as follows. You can make your own Heshtok in 2 steps. Take Hel, then add Vorcha. The planet is highly volcanically active, leading to periodic releases of toxic gases into the air and water supplies, as well as other extreme situations that gave rise to the Vorcha's legendary adaptability. Overcrowding and the extermination of most of their ecology led to a planet covered in weeds and hardy vermin. The Vorcha do not have a recognised single government that would allow them membership in any galactic league. Alliances between bloodlines are tenuous at best, and the Vorcha's short, violent lives ensure there are few lasting institutions. The Reaper invasion of Heshtok encountered little formal military resistance, but the harvesting process is slow. Oh, get in there, Vorcha! Get in there! I stan an underdog. I love an underdog, so I'm like, the Vorcha are being dissed, I love them. Not as much as I love the Elcor, but like still. Destroying neighbouring cities fails to intimidate Vorcha, who become submissive only if physically dominated in person. Oh, you killed my neighbour? I don't give a fuck. Cutting off their water supply simply makes them adapt their bodies to get moisture from food. Allied intelligence hypothesizes that Reaper forces are not harvesting yet, instead seeking to immobilize Hishtok's population and prevent them from joining the fight for the galaxy at large. Population lack of census data spreads estimates from 6.0 to 9.3 billion pre-invasion. Capital, Hatash, disputed. Orbital distance 0.75 AU. Orbital period 0.72 Earth years. Radius 3,902 kilometers. Day length 44.9 Earth hours. Atmospheric pressure 0.27 Earth atmospheres. Surface temperature 32 Celsius. Surface gravity 0.695 G. And let's see, right there. Ooh, Void Devil's Fighter Wing. If that is a group of Vorcha fighters, I would let's take them with us. Come with us, Vorcha. I like them. Just this one system, and I'm like, the Vorcha are my second favourite race now. Naskral. Naskral is a small, hot, tidally locked inner planet that had modest minerals development. Is that grammatically correct? I'll trust that it is. That had modest minerals development on its dark side. Within a generation of the Vorcha's first contact with spacefaring species, robo-mining interests attempted to exploit it, only to find their trading partners violently overthrown on a regular basis. The Vorcha's own culture disenfranchised them in Naskral's case, as their legal claims to the planet were inevitably backed up by violence as a show of dominance. This nuance was lost on the mining corporations, who hired mercenaries to guard their operations with lethal force and never surrendered it to Vorcha claimants. The Reapers sent a small force to destroy Naskral's orbital stations and surface facilities. There is no indication that there are any survivors. Orbital distance 0.37 AU. Orbital period 0.3 Earth years. Radius 1,754 kilometers. Day length 0.3 Earth years. Atmospheric pressure trace. Surface temperature 156 Celsius. Surface gravity 0.41 G. Lovely, and that is Kaisel. We still have Thal left. Yeah, and that will be this system done and dusted. Let me in. Now then, what have you got?
I found something.
Show me nice things. I want nice things. We got 2 nice things. I will take that. I will take that. Let's, as always, we have to go round the meteor belt. We have to, just in case. Is that something? Aha! See, there's always stuff hiding. There is always stuff hiding. Viritz. Viritz is a large stony asteroid in the Thal system's Raikari belt. There are no records of its colonization, but it is included on star charts, as it is well known by astronomers on Alta Carril who could observe it with low-power telescopes during certain portions of its orbit. Orbital distance 7.3 AU. Orbital period 22.1 Earth years. Radius 6. I'm so sorry, I can't read numbers. My brain just says, I don't want to deal with numbers right now. I'm sorry, brain. I'm sorry, we have to read everything. Radius 651 kilometers. Day length 11.4 Earth hours. Atmospheric pressure trace. Surface temperature negative 161 Celsius. Surface gravity 0.01 G. And anything else? There tends to only be one thing at a time hiding in the asteroid belts, but you never know. You never know. Okay, yeah. Nothing else, which leads me to Xerxio. A hydrogen-helium gas giant, Xerxio's many moons were developed along with the colonization of Alta Carril. It is believed that the majority of them were military in nature, a common theme among Taurian colonies. Specifics a few. Alta Carril's government kept its records classified, and the Reapers have systematically destroyed the installations here. Orbital distance 5.4 AU. Orbital period 18.1 Earth years. Radius 74,616 kilometers. Day length 16.4 Earth hours. And then another asteroid belt. Well, we've got the thing at the top, but anything else? Anyone else? Oops, excuse me. Let me in. Let me in. Thank you. Just a Vorcha Labour team, just like on the asteroid, like, hey, pick us up. Tyrix. Tyrix, one of the largest objects in Thor's asteroid belt, is a metallic asteroid with an iron-nickel core under a rocky olivine mantle. It is possibly a remnant protoplanet, prevented from forming into anything bigger by gravitational disturbances from Xerxio. Orbital distance 3.3 AU. Orbital period 6.7 Earth years. Radius 808 kilometers. Day length 5.21 Earth hours. Atmospheric pressure trace. Surface temperature negative 140 Celsius. Surface gravity 0.015 G. And thank you for the Labour team. And I believe that is it. Okay, so who is you? Okay, Alta Carril. Alta Carril is a garden world on the outer edge of its star habitable zone. The planet is largely frozen, yet it features native dextroamino acid-based life in its lower latitudes. These species evolved to withstand periodic freezing and compensate for the cold with spectacular population explosions during the long, mild summers. Hardy, independent-minded Taurians colonized the planet. The Quarians briefly considered contesting them, but were daunted by the virulence of the planet's infectious life during the growing season, not to mention the colonists who had ties to warlords elsewhere in the Shrike Abyssal. Alta Carril's citizens were wiped out by Reaper's bombardment despite the planet having a reasonably high population, which would usually make it a candidate for harvesting. Allied intelligence suggests that the colonists kept anti-space defense weaponry in population centers, so the Reapers limited their risk by destroying the threat and moving on. Colony founded 2021 CE. Population 13.5 million. All population estimates are pre-invasion. Capital Estivus Irax. Orbital distance 1.6 AU. Orbital period 2.3 Earth years. Radius 4,145 kilometers. Day length 19.2 Earth hours. Atmospheric pressure 1.19 Earth atmospheres. Surface temperature negative 24 Celsius. And fuel depot? Indeed, lovely. Now just you two left. Serrate. A large terrestrial, Serrate's methane-rich atmosphere might be mistaken for that of a true hothouse planet. However, some terraforming corporations have targeted have targeted it for development, since Serate has already given rise to some cyanobacteria in the liquid water that can be found near its poles. There is some evidence that the planet has been fluctuating between methane-heavy and oxygen-heavy atmospheres for several million years, each cycle dependent on the nutrients in the ocean that led to bacterial growth or crashes. Star charts... Oh yeah, that does make sense. Sorry, I just read that weird in my head. Star charts catalogue several scientific stations studying Serate, but all appear to have been destroyed by the Reapers. Orbital distance 0.85 AU. Orbital period 0.87 Earth years. Radius 10,413 kilometers. Day length 65.0 Earth hours. Atmospheric pressure 5.18 Earth atmospheres. Surface temperature 94 Celsius. Surface gravity 1.82 G. And finally, Garan. Garan is the innermost planet of the Thal system, which is less than 2.56 million kilometers from its K-class parent star. Temperatures on the sunward side of this tidally locked planet reach more than 2,800 Celsius, boiling away earth and stone. These gases are then carried away by wind from the hottest point to the zone where temperatures are cool enough for the gaseous mixture to recondense, leading to the unusual weather phenomenon of rains of rock. Flippin' heck. Garan remains largely unexploited by commercial interest, as the heat of the star tends to ward off all but well-funded collection ships like the so-called Inferno class that mine ESO near energetic stars. Garan does not appear to have ESO, and its other elements are not worth the setup cost. Orbital distance 0.0172 AU. Orbital period 17.52 Earth hours. Radius 11,703 kilometers. Day length 17.52 Earth hours. Atmospheric pressure 0.67 Earth atmospheres. Surface temperature 1,284 Celsius. Global average. Surface gravity 1.56 G. I do apologise for the number of tongue fumbles. I know what it is. I am currently filming this on Wednesday. Wednesday, let me get the date. It's the 30th, right? It is the 30th. Yes, I am filming this on Wednesday 30th. On the 31st, Veilguard comes out, and I am very excited. I went to the wrong place. Whoops. It's fine. It's fine. We have the fuel. But yeah, in less than 24 hours, I will be playing Veilguard. And I want to throw up from excitement. I'm just like... My brain is just like, Veilguard, Veilguard, Veilguard. Why are you here? Are you going to get a system later? That's what I'm going to assume. That's what I'm going to assume. But yes, to Sigurd's Cradle. Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. My brain is filled with thoughts of Dragon Age, and I'm like, I want fantasy. I want fantasy. I don't want sci-fi right now. I want fantasy. And it's very distracting. Now then, what do you have for me? Okay, I'm like, I could do with some fuel. I could really do with some fuel, but oh well. We'll make do. Terapso. A hydrogen-helium gas giant with an abundance of nitrogen in its atmosphere. Terapso was notable because of its independence from the government of Chalkos, as well as from any other governing body. As a result, its colonized moons and orbital stations overseeing the helium-3 recovery were neutral meeting grounds for all manner of deals between terminus governments, warlords, or crime figures. The Reapers appear to have I have trouble with this word. Cursorily bombarded many of the moons and machinery here. It is possible there are survivors. No plans exist detailing the extensive tunnel networks that were under the moon's surfaces, but it is likely that without rescue or food shipments, any inhabitants will die off soon. Orbital distance 4.53 AU. Orbital period 9.66 Earth years. Radius 63,374 kilometers. Day length, 12.9 Earth hours. And the belt. Anything in the belt. Oh, hello there, my lassie. A salacious asteroid. That's not going to be salacious. That can't be salacious. That means something else. That was like silicaceous? That sounds about right. A silicaceous asteroid. My lassie is rich in olivine and pyroxene. The Asari colonizing Chalkos set up habitats on my lassie, mostly to oversee a large-scale project in which smaller asteroids would be flown to Chalkos. There, the olivine would be recovered and used in sequestering the planet's carbon dioxide. As with many Asari projects, this was expected to take decades or centuries before generating an appreciable effect on the planet's climate. The station here has been bombarded by the Reapers. The effect on the integrity of the asteroid is unknown, but it does not appear to be breaking apart just yet. Orbital distance 2.3 AU. Orbital period 3.5 Earth years. Radius 571 kilometers. Day length 61.9 Earth hours. Atmospheric pressure trace. Surface temperature -59 Celsius. Surface gravity 0.07 G. And anyone else? Okay, no. Who is you? Selvos. Chalkos' binary twin is a barren world that always seemed like a better terraforming prospect than it is. Its temperatures are quite tolerable for sapient life, and its gravity is suitable for retaining a thick atmosphere. Its location, close to Chalkos, makes for a tempting investment. Two garden worlds so closely together would benefit from mutual trade and, if nothing else, tourism due to their near-unique status. However, Selvos has minimal water. Early attempts at creating a hydrosphere met with slow progress that only Chalkos' Asari could love. The deaths of the colonists on Selvos and Chalkos have dashed any hope for terraforming in the near future. Selvos is now a wasteland of punctured dome habitats, and its orbital stations are slag. The Reapers have moved on. Orbital distance, barycenter, 1.15 AU. Orbital period, 1.24 Earth years. Radius, 6,062 kilometers. Day length, 54.9 Earth hours. Atmospheric pressure, trace. Surface temperature, 32 Celsius. Surface gravity, 0.94 G. And yes, Chalkos. Chalkos is notable for being one of the few garden worlds in the Milky Way that is also part of a binary planet system. Both it and its heavenly twin Selvos are in a stable orbit with one another in addition to orbiting the star Mill. Chalkos' greenhouse gases led to a hotter climate than Earth, and the solar eclipses caused by Selvos, while common, are not frequent enough to be a good solar shade. This did not prevent a colony from springing up, largely Asari, and their varying species of mates. It was far from an idyllic settlement. Like many terminus worlds, it was rife with farmers growing psychoactive substances, armed gangs, and with genetic engineering that could be illegal in council space. But aside from the maddening heat and photo period, it was quite inhabitable. The Reapers turned Chalkos to rubble. Emergency broadcasts caught in the light cone coming from the planet indicate that the Reapers used ground forces to invade and spent little time harvesting. As they departed, the Reapers bombarded the planet from orbit, either because they needed to reinforce another front quickly or had gathered the data on genetic engineering they needed. Orbital distance, barycenter, 1.15 AU. Orbital period, 1.24 Earth years. Radius, 5,005 kilometers. Day length, 68.6 Earth hours. Atmospheric pressure, 0.66 Earth atmospheres. Surface temperature, 57 Celsius. Surface gravity, 0.79 G. And you have something for me over yonder. Where yonder? There yonder. Husky neural map. Ooh, okay. Okay, thank you kindly. And you, Lycia. Lycia is a low-density world, notable for its appearance in the Asari-sploitation hollow, Blue Steel, one of humanity's first attempts to market entertainment galactically. The promotional campaign assured viewers that it was filmed on location in the most dangerous section of the galaxy, the Terminus systems. In fact, the cast and crew were relatively safe, occupying a space station that orbited an unremarkable lifeless planet. Lycia's space stations housed a largely Asari crew teleoperating robo-mining of uranium. When Blue Steel was released, human audiences still thought of this as an exotic profession. Today, it would induce yawns. The Reapers have destroyed the orbital stations around Lycia and have moved on. It is not known if anyone managed to escape. Orbital distance 0.68 AU. Orbital period 0.56 Earth years. Radius 5,953 kilometers. Day length 34.7 Earth hours. Atmospheric pressure trace. Surface temperature 131 Celsius. Surface gravity 0.66 G. And lastly, a crier. Again, I'd have that as a character name. Tidally locked to its parent star Mill, Akraia is a small rock planet that never bore much development due to the Asari on Chalkos and Selvos having limited resources and instead focusing their efforts on more welcoming worlds. Old scans indicate that it may have an abundance of nickel. Orbital distance 0.4 AU. Orbital period 0.3 Earth years. Radius 2,800 kilometers. Day length 0.3 Earth years. Atmospheric pressure trace. Surface temperature 268 Celsius. Surface gravity 0.39 G. And that is this system done and dusted. Again, the mass relay is over here. Let's not get lost. Oh, only 400. I don't know. I'm thinking back. Where was... Oh shit, did this get closed off? There was one place that was like 3 in a row. Was that you? Oh, damn. Might also have been you. You know what? I will have a Google of that. Just to double check. I mean, if there was something I missed that, I don't think I'm willing to replay Leviathan. It was fun, but how do I put this? I've kind of reached a point where... How do I put this? It's not that I'm tired of Mass Effect. It's not that at all. But I want to see how all of this ends. That's kind of my thing. Even though I don't want to say goodbye to Naomi, I want to see how all of this ends. I want to play the story effectively. So I don't think I necessarily want to go back and replay Leviathan. And just if there is something in those systems, you know, we'll... Actually, you know what? Here's what we can do. Let's head back over here. Restock at the Citadel. And then I will bring this episode to a close. It's just the Alliance docks.
You're cleared to dock, Normandy. Do you need ground transport?
I'll handle it.
Yes, Commander.
Okie doke, and again, let's just head straight back out. Okie doke. I'm gonna end off right here. In the next one, more planet scanning, but until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.